morning, greetings, and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I use nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your vitality and health and well-being and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body. You are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health challenge. That's why we're here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 29 years of practicing pharmacy, I have seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes and hypertension and obesity and skin diseases like psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, acne, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds, recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle, but what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system is a healing system. It's a regenerating system. It is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health or nutrition or prescription drugs, if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, if you've got a health challenge that you just can't figure out, we can help you. 844-236-6010 is our number on the bright side, 844-236-6010. If you're interested in the longevity products or the Truth Skin Health products, or you have a success story you'd like to share, if you just want to contribute to the conversation, please call 844-236-6010. We love talking to you. And please try to call in early so we can get to as many calls as possible at 844-236-6010. If you're interested in purchasing any of the longevity products you hear advertised or recommended on the program, please head over to brightsideben.com, criticalhealthnews.com, or pharmacistben.com. We blog on the websites, and there's news stories and as well as the blog posts. And, of course, you can purchase longevity products right off the website, or you can sign up to join the Brightside Ben team right off the website as well, pharmacistben.com, criticalhealthnews.com. and brightsideben.com. You can purchase Truth Skin Health products if you head over to truthtreatments.com. Take a specially long look at our retinol 5% gel. It'll last you about 6 months, maybe even more. You only use it once or twice a week, and if you're dealing with wrinkles or fine lines or acne, blemishes, hyperpigmentation, retinol is the go-to ingredient, but it does have to be in a high enough concentration. Thus, our 5% retinol, which is formulated to be equipotent, the same potency as retinoic acid, 0.5% or 0.05%, I should say. There's 100 times difference between the prescription strength and the over-the-counter strength, and that's why I've got 100 times more of the vitamin A derivative in our retinol 5% gel. Truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. All right, so we are talking PPD, the PPD hormones, pregnenolone, progesterone, and DHEA. They're all versions of cholesterol. They're all calming, they're all building, they're all healing, they're all youth promoting, they're all stabilizing. As we get older, our levels drop. I don't know what more we need to hear when it comes to how unbelievably valuable the PPD hormones are in terms of making them, in terms of synthesizing our own, and in terms of supplementation. When you think of the PPD hormones, you want to think of fat. That means fat metabolism, fat digestion, fat intake. Essential fatty acids are critical for making the PPD hormones. The EFAs, cholesterol, is critical for making the PPD hormones. If you're not getting your EFAs, your ultimate EFAs, you're probably not going to be making your PPD, youth-promoting, anti-aging, healing hormones as effectively. If you're not absorbing your fats, if you've got intestinal problems, gallbladder issues, if a doctor's taking your gallbladder out, you'd be very, very wise to supplement with DHEA or pregnenolone or progesterone, in my opinion. Vitamin A is critical for the production of these hormones. Another really stupendously valuable, stupendously important nutritional supplement. Vitamin A is only found in animal products for the most part. Beta-carotene is not vitamin A. Don't let anybody tell you that. It is not vitamin A. I've heard medical professionals say it. I've heard people who I would otherwise respect in terms of their biochemical savvy say that beta-carotene is vitamin A. It's not. It can be converted into vitamin A by some people. I won't even say most people. But why take a chance? Vitamin A is only found in animal products, however, so if you're a vegan, you're going to be stuck with the beta-carotene. But if you're not a vegan, get on real vitamin A, especially if you're aging or dealing with the effects of aging or any kind of breakdown in the body. Vitamin A is a building vitamin, and it's also important for the production of these PPD, youth-promoting hormones. And if you're not processing fats, you're not going to be getting your vitamin A or your EFAs. And if you're on a statin drug, you'd be wise to throw in a little pregnenolone into your daily nutritional supplement regimen. Although pregnenolone isn't strictly a nutritional supplement, it's a hormone. Okay, so we talked about pregnenolone, we talked about progesterone. I want to start talking about DHEA, which I absolutely positively love. I first started to really understand, we learned about it in pharmacy school, DHEA, but I didn't really get the full impact of it until the mid-90s. Some of you may remember when there was I think it was about 1994 or 1995, somewhere in there, there was a movement afoot to have DHEA made over the counter, to have DHEA produced over the counter. I'm sorry, to have DHEA taken from over the counter. It was going to be a prescription. In fact, it was going to be a controlled substance. And then a big stink was made, and the net result was something called DSHEA, the Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act. DSHEA, they call it. You may have heard of that term, DSHEA. DSHEA did a lot of things, but one of the main things it did is allowed us to get DHEA over the counter. And once that happened, people started to really leverage this thing. They really started to explore the importance of DHEA as a supplement. And I did in my compounding pharmacy. I was making DHEA cream, and I was recommending DHEA and getting absolutely wonderful results. Now, at the time, I was in my mid-30s, so I didn't really think too much about supplementing with DHEA. But as I got older, as I got into my 40s, I started to use DHEA myself. And man, this stuff's amazing. Especially for sexual things, sexual performance, for male sexual performance. If you're an older guy and you're now starting to experience some of the effects of ED or performance issues, if you know what I'm talking about, DHEA can do some incredible things. Don't take too much of it. Don't get carried away with this stuff. 10 milligrams or so. It's kind of like a Swiss Army knife steroid hormone. It's good for so many different things. It's made in the adrenal glands primarily with pregnenolone and with progesterone. It is derived from progesterone. Progesterone can go two ways. Pregnenolone can go two ways. I apologize. Let me take that back. Pregnenolone can go two ways. Pregnenolone can get converted into progesterone, and it can also get converted into DHEA. Now, pregnenolone itself has got wonderful benefits, but via its conversion into DHEA, you can get an upregulation in a lot of your sex hormones. This is DHEA's main role. It does some other things too, but its main role is to upregulate sex hormones, testosterone particularly, but also estrogen, because there's a relationship between the two. So DHEA you want to think of it as a producer of the sex hormones. It helps you produce the sex hormones, particularly testosterone. That's why it's good for male issues. But it's also good for sugar control. In fact, next to its ability to upregulate the sex hormones, DHEA is known for its ability to help us handle blood sugar, help us convert blood sugar into energy. DHEA helps the cells get energy. Yesterday we talked about this whole idea of how cells get energized via oxygen, and this is how the PPD steroid hormones work. They help cells get oxygenated, so it makes sense that DHEA would improve energy production in a cell. DHEA does more than that, though. DHEA is great for weight loss. DHEA is great for brain health. It's very important for brain health. DHEA supports immune health. It's just an incredibly valuable supplement. You don't want to take too much. Stick around with 10 milligrams a day. And there are a few little problems associated with DHEA. This is why the FDA wanted to regulate it back in the 1990s, because there's a few little things that you need to know about DHEA before you start supplementing this stuff. It's not as benign as pregnenolone, which you don't have to really worry too much about. I'll tell you what I mean when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back right after this. All right, we are back on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you have questions about anything we're talking about today, or the longevity products, or health, or nutrition, or prescription drugs, or if you have a success story you'd like to share, or if you just want to contribute to the conversation, 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll get your calls here in our next segment. If you're interested in purchasing any of the longevity products you hear advertised or recommended on the program, please head over to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. And if you'd like to take a look at our Truth Skin Health products, head over to truthtreatments.com. I've got a skin blog up there as well as information about our four Truth Skin Health products: Truth Omega-6 Healing Cream, Truth Serum, Truth Retinol Gel, and our Truth Balm. Okay, we're talking DHEA, dihydroepiandrosterone. First became, well, we've known about it for probably close to 100 years, but it really got going in terms of popularity in the mid-90s. I started using it in my compounding pharmacy, making creams with it in the mid-90s. And then I started supplementing it with myself a little bit later on. DHEA is one of those tricky ones. It's not as benign and gentle as pregnenolone. It gets converted into testosterone and estrogen relatively quickly. In fact, DHEA actually gets converted before it gets converted into the sex hormones. It gets converted into a really interesting substance called androstenedione. Some of you guys may remember this because Mark McGwire, the baseball player Mark McGwire, was famous for using androstenedione. And I don't know, for you guys who follow baseball, Mark McGwire set the Major League Baseball record for home runs one year. It was an amazing year in baseball. Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire went crazy hitting home runs, and Sammy Sosa, they went crazy hitting home runs. It's ridiculous amount. Nobody had hit more than 50 or 60. These guys were hitting 70. They just were shattering records. And then it came out that Mark McGwire was actually using androstenedione, and it became a real big scandal. He was using androstenedione. They called it a steroid, which it is a steroid, but everybody had this idea that he was doing these terrible things with steroids, and all he was doing was a little andro. And actually, a lot of bodybuilders back in the day, a lot of weightlifters, and a lot of athletes were using andro. That's what they called it, androstenedione. It came from DHEA. It was derived in the body. It was made in the body from DHEA. And some other folks were just taking DHEA to boost their own andro. Well, sure enough, the FDA got wind of this whole big scandal, and they made andro illegal. You now can no longer get andro. It was pretty darn amazing stuff, I will say. DHEA gets converted into these sex hormones, but it goes through andro. Goes through androstenedione. So DHEA gets turned into andro. Then it gets turned into testosterone, and then estrogen. That's the order of events. DHEA gets converted into andro, which is androstenedione. I'm just going to call it andro. And then that gets converted into testosterone. So if you could take the andro, it's a shortcut to getting to the male hormones. But these days you can't do it. Nonetheless, DHEA will help you make this male hormone. But because it's so close to male hormone, DHEA, the molecule, is pretty darn similar to male hormone. And then from that point, it gets converted into female hormone pretty quickly. You got to be a little bit careful with DHEA. And there's actually some physicians and some naturopaths who will tell you not to use DHEA, and actually it's a little bit tricky to get DHEA. Whole Foods doesn't carry it. A lot of health food stores won't carry it. You can't get it pretty readily on the internet these days. Before the days of the internet, it was a little tricky to get DHEA. You can use DHEA in a couple different ways. You can use the capsules. You can also use DHEA cream. These PPD, youth and fertility steroid hormones, go very well in creams. Pregnenolone, not as much, but progesterone and DHEA, they go very well in creams. So you can get topical DHEA, or you can just go on the internet and get yourself 10 or 20 milligrams of DHEA. I wouldn't be taking too much of this stuff until you see how you react. One of the things that can happen is you can get oily skin and acne and break out. In fact, that's probably the main thing that happens if you take too much DHEA, at least in an obvious sense. You may have, who knows what's going on inside your body, but in terms of what you can see, your skin may break out. And for guys who are already heading towards male pattern baldness, it may accelerate hair loss. So you want to be careful. For women, it may cause some hair growth. So you want to be a little bit careful with the dose that you take of DHEA. There's another kind of DHEA that's not as, it doesn't have the same male hormone effects. It's called 7-keto DHEA. And we're going to spend some time talking about 7-keto DHEA. But if you're interested, before we get to talking about it, if you're interested in checking it out, you want to go on DHEA, but you don't want to make too many male hormones. You want some of the other benefits of DHEA, like the weight loss benefits, or perhaps the blood sugar benefits, or the brain health benefits, or the bone building benefits, or